thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. I did all that on me. You know what I'm saying? All right. So once again, welcome back to the stage, humble dad, for the first time, like I never left. We're gonna talk about where are the husband-minded men this evening, because so many people are saying that there are no good men out there, and there are some that have found some, and so we're gonna talk about where can you find them, because I believe that there are good men out there, because wedding costs are high, right? And people are still having honeymoons, and people are still having marriages and weddings. So we're gonna talk about that today. So the question that we have is, what's the best way for your teammates to communicate with you regarding difficult feedback? Okay, and we're gonna welcome to the stage. He's been long overdue. Is he ready? He probably ain't ready. He don't look ready, Mr. Prototype.
What's going on?
What's up, bro?
Man, I was not expecting the first call up.
I know.
Okay. What's the question? What's the best way to communicate with your, for your teammates to communicate with you? I mean, straight up.
They have difficult feedback.
No, straight up. Don't sugarcoat nothing for me. Tell me what it is, and let's move forward and let's get over it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, what if they don't like what you're doing?
I don't care. Yeah, tell me straight up. If I'm acting like a little, you know what I'm saying? Say, hey, bro, you acting like a little right now. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what it is.
That's a bet. I'm interested to see what Miss Tamia is gonna say, because I've been in situations with her. So please allow the court to know what's your answer.
I would say I prefer, like, don't text me, don't email me. I prefer to have a face-to-face conversation, whether that be Zoom or in person. But I would prefer to see the person, see the body language, so that I could receive as best possible. And I would appreciate that my teammates consider the delivery of the criticism. So you can let somebody know I'm always receptive to criticism, but there is a tone and a certain way that some people deliver criticism where you feel like you're being judged or put down, as opposed to, I know you can do better at this. So I'm definitely open to a conversation. And again, I think we were talking about this in backstage before. Emotions removed, because I am emotional, and already I have to tell myself that it's criticism and no one's trying to hurt my feelings. So I would appreciate just a civil conversation, straight facts, mindful of tone and wording. Yeah, I'm high maintenance with with that.
I've never heard that put that way before. I'm high maintenance when it comes to communication.
Wouldn't you say so? Wouldn't you say so?
I would definitely say so.
Okay.
I would definitely say so, for sure. Hey, let's see what Lost in Translation has to say. What's up, homie?
Good evening, Humble Dad. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good. I apologize. I couldn't make it last night. Grilling went a little extended.
Sound like it went good if it went extended.
Yeah. I had to, she wanted me to do well, I did burgers because I wanted to, and then she wanted me to try to do some fish.
Good.
So, and I've never done it before, so
ain't nothing wrong with that. It's first time for everything.
That's a bet. So what you got?
I tell them to make sure they write it down. The Bible says write it down and make it plain, because I don't do emotions. I don't do tone police. I don't do any of that. I do objectives. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Write down a list of objectives. And when I meet them, we shouldn't discuss it anymore after that. That way, no, they
Yeah.
can go back and change their mind and say, well, I think, or I feel. No, you said so on paper right here. If I meet these objectives, then we arrive at what we need to arrive at, so we can continue on doing what we have to do.
That's a good take. That's what's up. Hey, let's see what Miss Ash has to say.
Okay. Make sure I ain't pulling a Dwayne. Okay, mic sound. Me, verbal, and don't start with I feel like, because when you're taking it with I feel like, that means you're taking it from a personal standpoint. It's not about what I did or didn't do or how I handled the situation. Like Lost in Translation said, follow with the actual objectives, what I actually did versus what you feel should or should done. Because at the end of the day, if I'm trying to get something done and you're trying to communicate that it failed in the way that I executed, I don't need to hear what you feel, because what you feel is irrelevant. Because you can feel I did it wrong every day, all day. But if I executed a certain way that made sure it was not a success or win, that needs to be the driven point. Because a lot of people don't know how to separate the I feel or their emotions from what needs to be said at hand. They don't respect that boundary right there. So I guess you can say a boundary conversation that needs to be had without feelings.
Okay, that's what's up. That's I got you. I'm with you. Okay, and then we're gonna see what Sir Hale has to say. What's up, homie?
Humble Dad, salute to you, sir. Glad to be on the podcast again. Salute to all of the fellow contestants on the platform as well, and to the chat. I'm like Prototype. Just be direct and respectful. Those are the only two criteria. If you can sustain a level of respect, I appreciate directness. It helps us to get the problems easier without all the filtering through how you feel about stuff and your interpretation of it. Direct but respectful. That's what I ask for.
That's what's up. Hey, we're gonna see what Miss Penny has to say.
Hi. So I think I like the direct approach as well. I don't think tone really gets to me. I think I'm a real calm person, and I think the way that I talk to people kind of calms them down. So I think I can persuade people to kind of like calm it down and just state how they feel. I don't really mind people telling me how they feel about a situation. I would love facts, but if people tell me I make them feel some type of way, I'm welcoming of that as well. I feel like the way that I move in the world, I want it to show up just how I want it to show up. So if it's showing up in a way that a person's taking it some type of way that I don't intend for them to take it, I want them to let me know that that's how I'm making them feel, so that I can change it because I want it to come out the way that I want it to come out. So I think just showing up with examples to tell me how you feel about it so that I can analyze it and see if it is something that I'm really doing. So I would prefer it that way. But straight up is how I would prefer it.
That's what's up. I say for me, it definitely needs to be direct. And if you have an issue with me, please go ahead and tell me. Don't walk around and be like acting, because it's going to be subconscious that you have an issue with me. It's going to be all in your body language. I have that currently at a place that I'm working, where I know that they have an issue with me, but I have no idea what I did because they walk by me and don't speak. Right. So it is what it is. Just let me know what it is so we can work on it. So we're going to get directly to these topics and these questions and conversation. And we're going to start with the question of define a marriage-minded man. Define a marriage-minded man. And we're going to keep it simple. We're going to start with Lost in Translation.
Thank you. Yesterday, we had a show about is marriage a capstone or a cornerstone? Basically, a marriage-minded man is somebody who looks at marriage as if it's a cornerstone, something that you build along the way, somebody who looks to raise a family, somebody who looks to make sure that the institution of marriage is upheld. He's going to take care of his kids. He's going to take care of his wife. Basically, that's the essence of a husband, is to take care of what he needs to take care of. I'm going to go with Sir Hale next.
Shout out to my boy Lost in Translation podcast. Appreciate you, brother. So I think that was really good. So for me, a marriage-minded man is a servant leader. Now, I don't want to say this because, of course, you guys, if you are religious or if you've heard this concept servant leader. But when you think about what a marriage-minded man is, you're really taking on the responsibility for a wife and some children, and the sacrifice that it takes to do that well. It can't be about you. It has to be about how you are putting your wife and your children in a good position to be great in terms of their impact to the world, but then also for how you're preparing your children to have impact for the future, for the generations to come. So a marriage-minded man, it starts with the concept that you are leading, and your leadership is your service both to your wife and to your children. And so if I just define this very, in a very simple way, I would say a servant leader. That to me is the foundation of a marriage-minded man. And I will go with let's go with Ash.
Okay, I agree. It is definitely a leader because you have to be able to lead. And this is kind of strange because I was just having this topic Sunday morning, had this topic at hand because it was like, well, what do you think about a man lead? I'm like, a man can lead, but where we're going? Because a lot of times, a lot of people don't have a direction. Like you can say you want to be married, but married is just not for the glitz and glam in the show. To me, a marriage is where the man is like, hey, I want to take you under my wing, or whatever the situation may have you, like the little ducks as in children. But he has to be able to take on the different personality and understand that the wife ain't gonna always be, I guess you can say, wife, and everybody's gonna slack, but he has to be understanding. Not saying that he got to be a pushover, but he needs to be understanding that sometimes you got all the gears to keep them moving. That's what I think a married-minded man should be. Again, I ain't been there, so I really don't know. We're going to go to Prototype, see what he got.
Man, so a marriage-minded man, I don't think it's that complicated, because I think a man that just wants a family, wants to be married, is a marriage-minded man. I'm trying to simplify because a lot of us don't have an example, and we're learning on the fly. So a lot of times, all these things that we're listing out, a marriage-minded man needs to be blah 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 XYZ. It's really just a man that's willing to do those things and learn those things on the way, because we all don't have exactly what we need to do for our marriage, until we get in it and have to learn. And it really just is one who stays committed, to the process and can grow with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll keep it like that. Um, let's go with, I don't know, the Penny. I think you went already, right? Let's go with Penny.
I had to piggyback off what Prototype said. I would think my main qualification for a marriage-minded man would be commitment. And that's commitment to the family, commitment to his children, commitment to his wife, commitment to the struggle. Stay committed when you're down, when we're out, when it's just me and you, when you lose your job, we can't pay the bills. When we can pay the bills, just stay committed to me and committed to the family. And I think a man that stays committed, I think he can get through anything. So as long as he's committed to the relationship and committed to the struggle and the beautiful things about marriage as well, I think you succeed as a marriage-minded man.
Dwayne?
And I think I'll go with Dwayne because he just got in.
Yo, beautiful people. Marriage minded. I'd say, just like what y'all just said, commitment, but most importantly for me would be goal oriented, and also purpose driven.
That's it.
Keeping it simple.
Okay, so I guess the is that everybody?
I didn't go.
Okay, my
But
bad. Go ahead, Tamia.
I feel like everybody kind of said everything. But I also feel like a marriage-minded man has a sense of selflessness. So he's kind of like Prototype said, he wants to be married. And I think that takes a matter of selflessness, like giving yourself to taking care of a family, being that leader. As a man, from my perspective, it takes letting go of a lot. When you transition into that phase, it's no longer just about you or what's working for you. You understand that you're going into that circumstance with having to make compromise in terms of how you live your day-to-day life. So I definitely just want to add on selflessness to that. A marriage-minded man, some of them may work with being selfish sometimes, but essentially their goal is to completely be selfless towards their family so that they can take care of their wife and their children.
Did anybody want to add to that? Okay, we keep it simple. All right, that's what's up. Okay, so as I'm listening, I guess I have a follow-up question to that then, and that would be but when you're thinking about these particular, I guess, attributes of a marriage-minded man, my question would then be, how would you know, right, when you have a conversation, whether you're a man or a woman, how would you know that this particular guy is a marriage-minded man? Because we're giving the description, but if we sat in front of a particular guy, how do you think that you would know? What type of conversation would that be? And we'll start with Sir Hale.
I'm glad you started with me because I got a lot to say about this, but I'll be brief. So conversations are the worst way to figure out if a man is marriage-minded, because particularly as people have become smarter, we adapt to the environment. So if I know that Humble Dad is a married man, he's a man of God, he's a man of the cloth, and he believes in this, I know how to communicate with you so that we can have a good conversation. It does not mean, however, that me mastering a conversation with you is an indication that I'm really ready for marriage. I would venture to say old school men weren't great communicators, but a lot of them were great fathers. I say this to say this. So having the conversation is not enough. You have to look at a man's patterns. You have to look at how he conducts himself, how he thinks about things, how he takes care of stuff. You have to look at his demeanor. Like a man's actions, what he does consistently is a bigger testament to his marriage-mindedness than anything that he could ever say out of his mouth. So I'd say what he says should come number 2 to his actions.
Okay, who you got going next?
Let's go with Penny.
I agree. I wouldn't listen to what a man says because he's going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. I would definitely wait and see. I would even I don't want to say start nothing. Don't start nothing. But I want to see, because the quicker the problems come and you see how he solves them, and you see if he with what he's saying he with, then you'll know. But
wait, Penny. So women do be starting stuff.
I'm gonna say not to start nothing though. That's what I'm saying. Don't start nothing. But if you can pull it off, something light though. Don't start nothing too toxic. Start off with something light. Something light, and see what he say. Listen to how he talked to his mom and deal with those problems with the family. If you're around him long enough, you'll see some problems come about and see how he deal with that. And but I definitely wouldn't listen to what he say. Child, I don't know what they do. No, I wouldn't listen to what he say. He gonna tell you exactly what you want to hear. He gonna say, yeah, I'm a great communicator. Yeah, I solve problems, and probably don't solve nothing. Just wait and see how he do it. That's what I agree with Sir Hill.
Who you got going next?
Let me go with Lost in Translation.
You know what I found out that was interesting? Sometimes guys will even act the role. You know what I'm saying? They'll do everything that makes it look like they're moving in the right direction with action. And then when the rubber meets the road, nothing happens. One of the ways that you can tell is if this person has prepared themselves outside of the influence of a woman. You know what I mean? Has this person educated himself? Has this person prepared his mind, his body? You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Has he set aside his finances, outside of the presence of a woman? To me, that speaks to somebody who's preparing to be a husband versus somebody who's, acting or saying they're going to be a husband. You know what I mean? You got to look at somebody's, past records and ask them, hey, you say you want to be a husband, but what have you done to prepare to be a husband? Well, I go to church. I serve in my church or whatever. I also, teach little league or whatever, with my little nephews or whatever, that type of thing. Gaining experience along the way outside of the influence of a woman. So when he does meet that woman, his preparation meets opportunity, and that means that he's able to go ahead and proceed. So that is what I would see as someone who's actually been preparing themselves the whole time, versus somebody who says, "Hey, how you doing? Guess what? I'm a husband. Look what I've been doing." You know what I mean? That type of thing, and then telling them what they want to hear. But it's actually somebody who's been preparing themselves before he actually meets the woman. And I'm gonna go with Dwayne on this one next.
Yeah, I'd agree on that one. I was just sitting here thinking about how do you prepare for the big leagues, like in sports, right? It takes practice. You start off, if you're playing baseball, you start off in t-ball, where you just try and just hit the ball off the tee, and then you get up to where they pitching real fast. And I look at it from a guy's standpoint. One of the things that's for, if they're still asking the question, where the hoes at? Not ready. Not ready. What not ready yet. They still trying to hit the ball off the damn tee.
What Dwayne, they could be asking so they can make sure that they avoid them. Now we got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's a strong benefit of the doubt, Mr. Sir Hale. But I'm with you on that one. But still, if I get asked that question, I keep it moving. All right. But in that, like, even as for having single friends, we talk about that too. You who they hang out with, what they consume themselves with, like that. Yeah, that's how I look at it. But I like what you did. You said, Sir Hale. It's not just what they say; it's primarily what they do. Because talk is cheap, right? It's about where you spend your time. So that's how I look at it. So what are they doing in order to improve themselves before it gets to the point where they have that helpmate? How are they helping themselves? We'll go with Ash.
That's not fair. Y'all took everything. But I do agree, though. Action speaks louder than words, because a mouth to say anything that's pleasing to the ear to get you on the bandwagon to roll out. And you can be rolling and them tires just start shredding and fall off. I mean, with everything, like you can definitely see it within 6 months if they gonna go left or right, or if they gonna do what they gonna say they gonna do. So I definitely say action speaks louder than word. And Sir Hill should not be allowed to go first anymore because he takes everything. And I'm just gonna speak out for the group. Tamia, you're next.
You just said it. Everything was taken. I will say I agree. I'm on the actions speak louder than words bandwagon. I feel like, and I just know for a fact, it's just, you can say all you want to say. You can say what you need to, you can talk anything. And some people are wonderful interviewers for relationships too. Wonderful interviewers for that. So, as Ash mentioned, like if you're dating within that first 6 months, you can see through somebody's actions whether they're, I had a friend ask me, like literally called me at random and was like, Tamia, how long do you think you should date somebody until like they propose or you guys become exclusive? And I was like, you'll know if somebody's thinking like they want to be with you and pursue you and take this to another level, as opposed to y'all are just having a good time with one another. People will show themselves. You can only put up a front for but so long, because then that becomes hard work. So I believe actions for sure will reflect if that man is marriage minded or has any intention of becoming your husband. If you're sitting there for 6 months, a year, and it's like you don't know where this is going, you have no, like your friends are talking to you and you're kind of like, yeah, girl, we're kind of still dating. I feel like at that point you gotta have some conversations. Yeah.
So I guess I'm last.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good. I think it's a matter of the level of interest. You can't really have a conversation about it. There's no. I think every person has a good and a bad to them. So you can't say, "Oh, this is a bad person." They just might be bad for you, or you might not be that person for them. I think everybody can be a wife or a husband just based off of like how they feel about you, and if the vibe is right, you know what I mean, or if the situation is right, and if you're that person that they're committed to go through the process with. You know what I'm saying? So it's the action speaks louder than words, right? But uh, you can't just have a conversation because somebody can have a conversation like I'm not looking for anything, and then that end up be the person you end up marrying. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different holes. You just gotta, I think you just more or less gotta understand how people act when they put you at a certain place. You know what I'm saying? If they put you at that certain place, because I mean, flat out, like a woman I'm interested in, my wife don't know the same person that my female friends might know. Like that's not the same guy. They don't know the same guy. You know what I'm saying? So I completely different, not completely, but I completely different. Like this person gets these kind of things out of me, and this person gets these kind of things out of me. You know what I'm saying? And this person, this group of people, like, oh, he's wild, he's this way, this way. I'm like,
Can I
my
have
wife
an
don't know that
example,
guy.
please? What do you mean an example of that? What do you mean like a different person? Like what?
Well, I mean, to some people, I might come off as wild, and then to other people, I could be cool and collective. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just depends on who that person is to me, and that whatever that side comes out of. You know what I'm saying? So, I think everybody has like a two-faced monster. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde to everybody.
Oh, so your wife get the wild or she don't get the wild?
No, she don't get the wild.
Oh, she don't get the wild. Oh.
Nah.
So basically, it's like, because I can get that. I truly do believe that men, so not that like you change who you are, your loyalty to your wife or anything, I would hope not, but it's the sake of like the experience that your female friends get from you cannot compare to what your wife sees, or the individual that you present yourself to be to your wife. She knows who you are, in a social setting, like you're who you are at the core.
Yeah.
Essentially, like,
I think I would want the wild.
Here's the
I would
thing.
want some of
I'm
the
like,
wild every now and then. The wild, like maybe.
well, yeah. I mean,
Like the
it comes
wild,
out
but
in a time and
we
place,
wanna
but
have
like
fun
to
too.
certain female
some wild
friends.
too. I want to get that girlfriend. I mean, kind of like I want to see the wild.
It depends on if that's what you
See the
want.
wild.
If that's the kind of person you know what I mean. If you respond to that, but
I mean, because it's a part of you. So
well,
I mean, I
yeah,
would want
but
to know the
everybody's not
husband
like
if I was
that.
your wife, but I also want to say, okay, last night was different. You was a different person. Something happened. Oh, that's the wild prototype. Okay, cool. Every now and then, let me get the wild.
I mean, she
You
gets the
put
wild where
prototype in the corner. This is hilarious.
she gets the wild where it counts. You know what I mean? But in the
As long as she in
conversation
the wild, I'm just saying,
conversation
you
settings,
showing
like
somebody something else. I'm just saying.
my female friends don't know how romantic or if I could be a gentleman or like, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like they just hear the wild things I be saying and like, dang, like, because sometimes they'll be like, I don't know how your wife is married to you. I'm like, she don't know the same dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
So
like
you remember when
dude.
we first started Prototype? That's how it was with people that would kind of be in the comment section.
Oh
like,
yeah. Like
how is he married? Like how is he married?
But she don't know him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she know he exists, but she don't get him.
Prototype. So not to you directly, but women are smart. Women aren't around a particular guy who they don't see sparks of something in. So whether or not they're respectful, and I believe that your female friends are respectful, but women are smart and they see stuff that you don't think that they see. So I know we as men, we believe that we safeguard ourselves from them seeing certain elements of ourselves. But women are some of the most shrewdest creatures out there. They see stuff way before we do. And to prove it, they'll ask you little questions to verify according to their own verification system. So I just want to put that out there. You think you might be hiding it, but your female friends know.
I didn't say I was hiding.
Stop it with these examples.
I like examples, sir.
I didn't say I was hiding. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, when my female friends call me and they ask me for advice, or you know what I mean, I'll just give them a real raw answer. You know what I'm saying? But I don't talk to my wife like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not raunchy with her. I don't. There's nothing like that in our conversation. You know, they don't see like even if I'm like just in conversation, like they don't see like the everyday physical, interactions that we have. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't think my female friends wouldn't think I'm a sweet guy. My wife sees all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they get a different guy. You know what I'm saying? So
I get you, bro. Like I understand that. Because that's how I am. I don't think most people don't know how caring or compassionate that I am, because I'm gonna be. That's true. Like, listen, Dwayne can tell you.
You can see it all in your face, Humble Dad. I would think you're a compassionate person, sweet.
Yeah.
I can even see Prototype being sweet. Like, I can see that.
That's probably because y'all have gotten to know us, though.
But you're putting this on the podcast, so I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, but
seeing how you talk, how you act, the way you carry yourself in conversation. A woman can just imagine that in, a romantic setting with you, being your husband.
This possibly, right? Possibly, but I'm like, when it's in the you get to see some of my personality. Like, this is like just not even close to how it is that I am with my wife. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Tamia. What do you want to say?
I want to I'm backing you up on that, because Humble Dad showed up to a work dinner and literally just we're talking and he's like, yeah, I'm engaged. And I was literally like, I was frazzled because my brain, from the version of Humble Dad that I was seeing, you wouldn't even know that he was like even at that stage. Like, he had mentioned who's his wife now, in conversation, like, I'm dating a woman, I really like her, I think it's serious and things like that. But I'm telling you, like, a week after I heard that, we're at this table, because we'd have our own conversations. It's kind of like nobody else is really there. And he's like, yeah, I'm engaged. And I'm like, to what? Like, how? So I think it's a perfect depiction of like how it's like an onion. There's like layers to things. And I think that guys do that pretty well. Like, I think as women, just speaking for myself, we're sweet. If we're sweet, it kind of shows that we're sweet. Like, oh yeah, she's a lover girl. She's kind. She's pretty open. It's probably 10 times more than what we're seeing in public for her husband. It's pretty predictable with women, but I can definitely, because I was like, congrats. Congratulations.
Yeah, because like, it's like this, Penny. My conversations with people are pretty I don't talk as much on here as I do if I'm one-on-one with somebody, as Dwayne. Like, I pretty much hold the conversation. And then my wife will say the same. And then I hold people accountable, And so and especially men and women, but when I'm typically in the environment that I am in, I'm around women because I'm in education, right? And if I'm talking to them, they haven't been around a dude like me, right? And so they're like, you got a wife? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very direct, and I talk to them from a brotherly perspective. What, Dwayne? Why we laughing? Dwayne, go ahead, bro. What is it?
Oh no, I didn't say nothing. I don't say nothing. You keeping it real is keeping it real, and you don't care about somebody's feelings.
I do care about people's feelings.
I don't see it. I guess I don't see it.
He does care about feelings.
Just as long as he's saying the truth, he don't care really how you feel about
That's
it.
That's a fact.
If he's saying the truth. So
I don't know. Maybe I don't know you, but from watching you on Lapeef is when I first met you, and from watching you on there, you are direct, and you do hold people accountable. But it's a warmth that comes from you, and it's like, I can picture you being sweet, like you said, like you're really romantic. Like I can picture that from you. So I don't know. Maybe it's something that you think like women can't see, but they can. If you really pay attention to certain men, you can get that off the back, even if they're being very masculine, even if they're being very like, rah-rah, you can see that through some men that, yeah, he's a nice person, the way he carry his words, the things that he say. So I don't know.
I agree. I knew Humble Dad was a good guy. and that's why I didn't take like offense. And he became like a big kind of like a big brother kind of person for me, even in the workplace. And I took his counsel. Like there was never a point where, because he's told me about myself. Remember, I called him bald headed like the third day that I saw him. It was immediately like that, but it's because of how he was. But I also saw him interact with other individuals that weren't as receptive, because I also think that what Penny and I are seeing are like also a sense of like emotional intelligence. Like if you know and you can read that, it takes a level of like being outside of yourself to really take in like where a person could be coming from based on the character and the mannerisms that you've seen from them. So I did pretty well with it, but I definitely say it didn't work. It didn't work very well for everybody. But I knew, so I see what Penny is seeing as well.
And you're a man of God. Now, how you not gonna be nice when you're a man of God?
So Hale, what you got, bro?
Gentlemen, I rest my case. Ladies, thank you so much for proving this particular case. Women see stuff like, because most of us, man, we think we just these dudes, you know what I'm saying, got the grill, mess with a nigga, gonna like, we think that's who we are, and we don't think people see the qualities that we have because we hide behind our toughness. Women who are sage, who are wise, even if they don't tell you, they see stuff. And they know. And I love what Penny said and Tamia said moments ago. It's a certain warmth with directness. I think what we deal with when we say direct, there's a connotation that direct means crass. And direct doesn't mean that. It's really about the intention and the manner in which you do it. And like Penny and Tamia said, and I know Ash over there agreeing because she would say the same thing. Like women who understand and who are in tune with behavior, not even at like an academic level, just observing life, they can see qualities in men. Let me switch here real quick. It's why women will get with dudes who they see potential in. The guy might not live up to the potential, but a lot of women get with guys because they see qualities in him that he may or may not be living up to. It's a quality that feminine women possess because it's an attentiveness that they have. And so this is one of the skills that I hope that more men would appreciate from the women in their lives, whether this is your wife or your friends or your colleagues, because women who are really in tune, they can help you to see yourself in a way that makes you better as a person. So it's a superpower. Shout out to the ladies on the panel tonight.
I disagree with you, Sir Hal.
Let's get
it.
That potential thing, women don't really see true potential. They see an attractive guy, you know, or a smooth guy, and they'll say he has potential, you know what I'm saying, because he's attractive or smooth and he just lacks some drive or something like that. But they don't see potential the way we see it. You know what I'm saying? We'll be like, we'll see a woman like, oh, she just needs to do this, do a little bit of this. You know what I'm saying? And it's all character based. Like we see good character. Women don't see character. They see a guy who's attractive and got financial stability, and you know what I mean, they'll try to change that guy, like, oh, he has potential because he has these assets, but they don't see real potential.
Have we been chopped liver? Have Penny, Ash, and I been chopped liver?
I would like to disagree with you.
I speak in generalities.
I'm sorry. I want to speak for the generality, and I'd like to disagree with you tonight because we do see potential, okay? And a lot of times it's what gets us in bad situations with life sentences. I'm one of them, thinking people will change. And ain't nothing changing but the draws. So I have to disagree with that.
That's because you see the wrong potential.
Well, hey, it was some potential. You didn't say it was wrong or right. You said
no. That's exactly what I said. Y'all don't see the right potential. That's exactly what I said.
You said we don't see it. You said we don't see it at all. You didn't see no right.
You don't see the potential that a man would see, and vice versa.
Of course,
you know what I'm saying? It's not real potential you guys are seeing.
Okay, so what we seeing, lust? Because I think that's what I had in my eye.
Yes, that's what y'all see, lust.
The cute ones are the ones we have the reservation about. Like, nah,
yes.
he ain't. He's too cute to be this good. Like something wrong with him.
Okay.
Ain't nobody. You ain't got no girlfriend.
I mean, that's
you
know,
cute.
That's what it's
y'all saying that because y'all a little longer in the
something
tooth
wrong
now,
with
so
them.
now
We
y'all
judge
have that
right off the
experience.
bat. The cute ones, they judge.
But y'all
right off the bat.
y'all wasn't saying that in y'all 20s.
The ugly ones,
and still on the pony. Yes, I was, and I still was on the pony. I ain't care.
The ugly ones, you like, you know what? Let me see what he got. Let me
I'm trying to
let
tell
me
you.
figure out what else
He
you got
ugly,
going on.
but okay, he got potential. He ugly. We can kind of put him in some dim light. Make sure ain't nobody looking directly at him. Make
That
sure he curves to
personality,
the
though.
left something. But yeah, okay. Everybody got an ugly duckling that they thought was gonna turn into that nice, beautiful black swan or white swan, whichever one you want to call it. Everybody done had their little ugly duckling, and they tried to make it into something more. But that ugly duckling got a little beside theyself and started getting out of control. Let's just not just say we just see the lust. It's got something else come with it.
It's the lust or the financial. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
Man,
Y'all
no
see an
lust.
ugly
What's the
duckling and
lust?
You
he'll
keep
have a
on
little bit of
changing the
money.
prototype.
Huh?
You keep on changing. So you
He did change it.
to your
No,
point,
I'm just saying
prototype.
it's the lust
Hold on,
or the
prototype. To your
financial.
point,
So if those
prototype. To your point. Now you're
Okay.
distinguishing between good and bad potential, but you, sir, I wanted to call the records back to this court. You said that everybody has a good and a bad side. So by extension of what you said, good or bad potential is still potential in a particular person. Would you agree?
I would agree. But they're not saying like I said, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde is based off how he's treating you. You know what I'm saying? So if he's treating you like a bust down, you're like, oh well, he probably could turn around and treat me like his queen one day when he's treating you
No.
like a bust down from the gate.
No,
No.
please.
People understand it. See, only women that I'm gonna speak for this one, baby. Only women that wants to do that is to turn the man around and overplay their position is them types that knew that what it was when they going in. I'm sorry. If a woman thinks that a man when he come here busting it out, get your hand off your face. You just lose the attitude, okay? A woman know what it is and what it is. If you know you only getting calls at 2 a.m., you already know ain't nothing else going forward. You cannot change that man's mind no matter what you do. I have seen it and didn't understand it because I was like, why are you taking this dude food? Do you not know what time it is? Okay, but y'all not together. Why are you putting in all this work? Like, are y'all going somewhere or not? Because he over here got kids with somebody else. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna
but if you stay and try to change their
you
mind,
do get got a
that's
couple
you.
of times. Like as a girl, you're gonna get got. So
Everybody
you're gonna
get got.
experience it
Everybody
before.
gets
So
got.
you ain't
Wait.
gonna go out. I don't think most women out the gate know what things will end up being, and so you will take an L for sure. So I
I took
don't
about
think
10 of them.
no woman
Y'all
skates by
take
without
L's
taking
all
an
through y'all
L. You will.
20s.
I sure
Hit
did.
29
L
and be like,
and
Now,
I'm
I ain't gonna
different.
say all that now.
No.
I ain't gonna say all that
I
now.
sure
That's a
did.
bit much
L
to
and
say
A.
how many L's
Exactly.
you'll take, but for sure you'll take an L. You'll take an L or two.
Y'all
You're gonna
take
take an
L's
L.
from high school until y'all hit that midlife career. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
because at
No,
high
that's
school,
not
what are
true.
you actually like? What are you judging? You know, but like at this point, what I will say is, like it was said before, women are smart. We know, like, even if we're unsure, like, not we know who you are, but we know what we're doing. Like, we know what we're doing. We know if we're certain, we know if we're uncertain and still deciding to go into something. It's never really like oh, how'd I really end up here? You may have not been thinking through all of your decisions, but that's where we learn to grow and say, okay, I could have went about this differently. That comes with maturity. But what I will say, prototype while you're over there giggling, it's not always about finances, money that then gives us potential. Because half the time I've heard other conversations where then we were ridiculed for we end up with these guys and we try to like piece them together and puzzle them together because we see a certain potential in them because we know you're not meant to stay where you're at now. You're not meant to stay in a space with no job. You have so much more potential of it than that based on the experiences I'm having with you, not on how you're showering me, not on how you're loving me, but maybe we had a conversation about his ideas or what he has dreams about or what he for himself or what his thought process is. And it's like, why aren't you showing that outside? Why aren't you applying that? And then women go ahead and begin to believe in that potential. Like maybe if I recommend this book, maybe if I'm like, hey, let's go to this show. Oh, let me introduce you to this person. Or maybe you should listen to this podcast. Then we end up trying to essentially, excuse my language, build a nigga. But it's kind of like, it's not always, oh, he showered me with money or he's cute. Half the time it's a heart space thing. And we're like, dang, you could really be better. And I hope that I could help with that. You know, like if you're building relationship and then we take that L, like Penny's saying, sometimes we take that L. It's like, darn it, no, I thought I saw something. I didn't. And that'll happen sometimes. That may happen for y'all with women. You may think like she's great. Oh, she's great. She's amazing. We have wonderful conversations. Maybe this could be a thing. And then she disappoints you. That happens either way. But for women, majority of the time, when we're applying ourselves and trying to help build a person, it's not always because of what at that point we care about you. Like there's a little, they might be even be a little bit of, I have love for you in there. So we know we're risking it. We know we're risking it. So I don't think it's always like, for some maybe, but not the majority, not the whole general population of women. When we end up putting ourselves out there off some potential, oh, we know. We know. And then we get upset because then we're like, oh, we might not leave. We don't want to leave you because then if I leave you, I don't put all this work in a little bit of your improvement and now somebody else is going to get it. Then there's that. And then that's how some women end up staying in that relationship that they know that potential is not going to grow just off the sake of they broke their back trying to get that man to level up by 2-3 steps.
Lobster Translation, what's your thought on this? Or do you have one?
I do. I just wanted to make sure everybody got their piece out. Here's the thing. What I've been hearing is that people like to pick people based off potential. I may add that people pick people off of fear. And what happens is they are afraid that this may be the last person who could fulfill that particular dream that they have. Here's the thing about selecting from fear. Selecting from fear does not allow you to see clearly. It is a clouded judgment. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes women will hold on to a man for a long time because they have fallen victim to the sunk cost fallacy. They don't want to let it go. Sometimes you got to cut your losses. You know what I mean? And just say, hey, you know, it is what it is, and I learn from it. So when you're picking somebody out of fear, you're holding on to something because you felt like you've invested in it and you want to get something for the return of your money or your efforts or your time. In situations like that, you have to make sure you find somebody who picks you from confidence, but not confidence in you, but confidence in themselves, that they've done the work and they know how to choose and they know how to select, because that's a different type of motivation. If you're a woman and you're confident in your femininity, if you're confident in your wisdom, and then you select a man and he responds to that wisdom and that confidence, my dear, you have selected the right husband because you've selected him from confidence and wisdom. And when you select from wisdom and confidence, then you make better selections.
Anybody got words for that?
I think it's unfortunate that women don't have enough time to gain wisdom and confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because we judge them based on their numbers, right? And they need that experience to kind of make those selections. But because they make those selections, I mean, because they need all that experience to make those selections. They're like, oh, you're used goods at this point. So
Wait,
it's just a catch-22.
I want to make sure that I'm clear on what Prototype is saying. Prototype, can you say that again and give an example of what you mean? I want to make sure I'm clear.
They need to gain experience to get that wisdom to make a selection on a guy.
What kind of experience we're talking?
They date a lot of guys to get, and then they're finally able to make a decision on, oh, this is a good guy. But it's just too late because they didn't kiss too many frogs at that point.
Come on, sir, here, let it out.
Prototype, you cannot be serious with what you're saying. You cannot be serious that they need. Okay.
I think he is serious, but it's definitely a contradiction there.
Prototype, we might have to do like a side show because this is just gonna go on the rail. Listen, so I think it's the opposite. I think that women, let's look at what the culture has done. What we've done is we said, women, go out there, get you, from school, go ahead. Like it's okay to do a little drugs. It's okay to have sex, just use protection. Go to school, get you a good degree. After you get your degree, get you a good job. And then you can't just have those things. You got to have a social media presence because you're a brand now. So not only have your regular education and your job, but also go chase the bag online. Be popular, and when you take your pictures, be perfect. So we have the right filters, and if that ain't good enough, you got AI to help you out with that. And be free, be empowered to do whatever you want to do. Have your body count, because you are powerful. You're a liberated woman. And now our women are taking more antidepressants. The STI rates are climbing. You see the marriage rates are declining. There is no sense of values for a home. There was like this sense of disrespect and oppressive idea about being a wife, but women who don't want to be wives are okay with being single mothers. I think that there's a concept that we believe that the more you do something, the better equipped you are. And I disagree. I'll give you an example. So I was fixing something in my home, and you guys, if you've done work before, you know that if you use the wrong tool or you turn too much, you end up stripping it. The more you turn, the further you damage it, and you strip it even worse. I think telling women to drive their numbers up is almost like we're stripping them of their ability to adapt to a tool, a man that could find some use for her in his life. So no, I don't think that women should date and run up the numbers to gain experience. That experience strips you from the ability to adapt to the man who's designed for you. So that's why when you said that, I had to get some context, because that kind of, to me, that particular pathology is dominating the culture now. And if we really observe, women are not as happy as they pretend to be.
I'm not
And
saying
I think part of that is because of the overindulgence of dating, and what we know what that means is niggas having sex, right? So I think we got to be honest about that.
I think you didn't get the right context. I'm saying we don't allow women to have, like, I think somebody said women need to have experience or wisdom, a certain amount of wisdom to make the right decisions, right? Somebody said that. I don't know who said it, but somebody said it.
I did.
Right. So I'm saying, in order to get that wisdom to make that, those calls or whatever, you would need experience.
No, that's knowledge
to get wisdom.
So knowledge it comes from experience. Wisdom comes from listening. So like when like Humble Dad is on here and he's teaching his students about life and concepts from a mathematical perspective, and he equates a mathematical concept with life. What he's doing is teaching a function in math, but he's also giving you some wisdom from his own experience. So wisdom is you taken from somebody else's experience. Knowledge is what you do for yourself.
Wisdom is knowledge applied.
Wisdom
is knowledge applied.
Yeah, from somebody else's experience.
Huh? It doesn't. I mean, wherever some people get it from listening. Some people get it from actually going through it. You know what I'm saying? So, but wisdom is knowledge applied. So I mean, my point still stands. If you want them to make a decision based off of wisdom, you know what I'm saying? They're just really not allotted to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can learn from, a lot of people are more hands-on. Not everybody can learn from a story or, this person. A lot of people aren't being taught right. You know what I'm saying? We already got a 70% clip of, broken homes. Where are they learning from? And I'm saying women are not really allowed to get that much experience before we're like throwing them away and saying that they're trash. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. They're not allowed. We don't allow them to have the wisdom to really make a decision. And when they really do have the wisdom to make a right decision based on whatever man, it's too late. Their body count too high, it's in the 30s or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's too late. That's what I'm saying. They're just not allowed to really they got to learn quick.
I got you, Dwayne. I'm gonna come to you after Dwayne lost in translation.
No, I was just thinking. I liked your question, Sir Hill, as for what experience, and I think the large discrepancy, and I also applied this to men as well. HD and I, we get into the discussion or the argument whether or not whose responsibility of it is as for who controls access to sex, right? So as for the experience, you can have a relational experience like with relationships, but I think the toss up, knock down sexual relationship is what we're talking about, where you are no longer, like what Sir Hale was saying, like you the function is you're no longer useful because, and to your point, Prototype, because you've been used incorrectly for so long. So Sir Hale, I liked your analogy with that, because the women nowadays they're being stripped of something. But the thing about that is they're allowing themselves to be stripped of it. And I also then think that men in the same aspect as well. So we look at relationship or the gift of sex, we look at it as more of a recreational rather than it's a purpose. There's a purpose to it, and it's to raise children, not just for the gratification of oneself. So in the experience building, the experience building should be building relationships. So a lot of us are out there giving away the bag before we obtain that commitment, and with that we get the okadoke. We get sold the dream, or we, for the ones buying it, the ones selling it, they're not having enough discipline to know exactly what they want, and that's something that's very disappointing for me to actually sit back and observe. And the reason why, as for my purpose now, is to raise my children to be aware of that there's so much value. I mean, whether it's going to be my boys or my girls, there's so much values into holding on to yourself for the right person. Because going out there, you can have a relationship with people, right? But it does not have to be sexual. But our culture now, all these things that are around us, simple hormones drives us to want that furtherance of that relationship, which is not healthy. And one of the pastors at our church, he equated it to fire. Fire is good. Fire is good in the fireplace. It's good on the stove. It's good on a barbecue pit, but it's not good on your couch. It's not good on the floor. It's not good in places where it's not meant to be. And that's the same thing as for inside of marriage. Sex inside marriage is where it's supposed to be. That's the goodness in which you can extract from that fire. But outside of marriage, it's dangerous.
I'd like to add this last part to Prototype's point. I can't believe I'm gonna agree with Prototype to some extent. This is
He got that
it's
effect,
not good.
man, I'm telling you.
So to his point, he says that a lot of women don't have the opportunity to. And again, so wisdom is knowledge applied, but in Proverbs, it's called the Book of Wisdom, and in that, the writer of Proverbs continuously gives wisdom. A wise man heedeth, instruction, right? So that's wisdom, is you hear somebody else and you take that and you do it. But there is something true. A lot of women that I talk to, a lot of them were not taught about chastity, however you say that. And when I taught to save themselves, I heard there were two things that a lot of women tell me that they were told is don't catch nothing and don't bring home no babies. So a lot of women who are out here, they're out here wild, and this is why there's got to be some compassion and some grace and understanding in delivering hard truths. But a lot of women didn't have an example in their own mothers in terms of maintaining themselves, valuing, and when I say this, hear what I'm saying, valuing their body, not from the perspective how can they use it to get what they want out of a man, but valuing their body for themselves and saving it so that it is special if they choose to get married. So I think that element needs to be talked about as well. A lot of these young women who are once young girls, they didn't see an example of being chaste and respecting the body and presenting herself to a man. A lot of them got out here and got wild. And the truth is, sex is wonderful. So if for young girls who are not taught boundaries and not taught how to maintain themselves, you get a level of attention you never got before. You get the opportunity to get pleasure on demand from whoever you want. Most women don't have the discipline it takes because they were never taught that. And so this is an encouragement and really a plea to mothers and grandmothers and first ladies and older women with experience to teach your young girls. Because once they start developing up here, they start becoming pulchritudinous and they're beautiful. Like, they're going to get a level of attention that if you don't prepare them for, they're going to wreck themselves before 25. So I want to say that in agreement with what Prototype said, but I want to add that piece in there. A lot of girls didn't just choose this life. A lot of them were unconsciously introduced to it by not having people to safeguard their purity.
Lost in translation. Hold on real quick. Lost in translation had a comment a couple moments back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to speak to what Prototype said earlier. He said that women should gain knowledge and wisdom. But my thing is this, when will they have the opportunity to? People these days are so busy working as if they don't have time to build bonds. Here's my thing I'm going to tell everybody in the chat and around the world. You cannot cheat time. You can't. There's one thing that I know and I've seen a long time is that the amount of time and the investment that you put into a relationship actually is one of those things you cannot cheat. So my thing is this, if you're looking for wisdom, you might want to leverage the knowledge from older generations when they had more time. If you think about it, if you go ahead and look at the amount of time we used to spend together, it seems like the busier that we got, the worse our relationships got. You see what I'm saying? It's like we have been trained to get the bag, sun up to sundown. But my thing is this, when do you have time to cultivate your relationships? You don't. We hit each other in the text, on the DMs, in passing, you know what I mean, on Facebook, on YouTube from time to time, you know what I mean? And that's not something that you can build a relationship from in passing, because you really don't get to know that person. You don't get to see how that person overcomes struggle. You don't get to see or enjoy that person's celebrations. You know, we get together for birthdays or whatever, but we don't have conversations about, hey, how you doing? You know, really, you know what I'm saying? And our standard answer is always, I'm fine. But if you've been around anybody long enough, we already know I'm fine doesn't always mean I'm fine. So, like I said earlier, women should make the time to talk to older women. Men should make the time to talk to older men and leverage their wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Because as we get older and we get families or whatever and move on, we're going to keep getting busier and busier and busier. So we're not going to have time to distill the knowledge and wisdom ourselves. You see what I'm saying? I think it's Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart above all else, because it is the spring from which life flows from it. So if you keep having all of these dates and all of these experiences, it's going to cloud your well. And my grandmother used to say, what goes in the well is going to come up in the bucket. All those disappointments, all those heartbreaks, all of that's going to come up in that bucket when you meet somebody and they want to drink from that bucket and they want to be refreshed, and it is tainted. So yes, we should get back to talking about chastity and talking about purity and make it something that's not bad or frowned upon, you know, or cringe, as the new people say, or the ick, you know, whatever the new hot word is these days, and make sure that we give balance back and credence back to making sure that we keep ourselves pure, even as men as well too, to make sure that we don't get junk in us so we pollute somebody else as well. Does that make sense?
I want to ask a question. Whose fault is it that older women see younger women as competition, so they refuse to teach them? Whose fault is that?
I like to answer it's them.
It's the older women's fault? Is that what you're saying?
I do believe so. Because I just want to go back to what Sir Hale was saying about how the chastity is not taught. Because I was on the phone with one of my old friends that we used to be friends. And her grandma said, as long as you got that between your legs, your pocketbook should never be empty. So, yeah, I know. Wow, right? I'm like, my grandma ain't never said no stuff like that. Like, what in the world is y'all got going on? But like you said, some people are not teaching how to be women, how to be wives. And that's the problem. You got so many women that fail on hardship and look at a man as financial, which was the way Prototype was going earlier, is that some of us get a bad rap when we don't even look for that. But it's not saying that it's not being taught, because it is. It has been. I have friends that say, hey, he can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, well, are you trying to date him, or are you just trying to get some of his assets for the moment? You know what I'm saying? There could be people could be having a whole team, you know, the guy that's going to take you out to eat, the guy that's going to pay the car note, the guy that's going to pay the half on the rent, the light bill, and so on and so forth. So I think I really say it's older women, because for some reason, I done been a victim of this and still is. Older women look at the younger women like we're the problem, but we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything extra. it's like they look at us like we robbed them of something when they're not getting maybe that attention from the men folks when they first walked in. Baby, you the old one is my favorite line in I Think I Love My Wife. When what you call it walked in, she said, I had to realize I'm the old bitch in the club now. That's what she said. She had to realize that. You have to go watch the movie. The movie is funny. I love it. That's the only movie I really like Chris Rock in outside of being Pookie. But if you go look at that movie, it shows you the dynamic of Chris Rock trying to have fun with this girl that's not married versus him not taking care of home, and what goes on with not being done at home versus him trying to have fun, just a little fun action. But back to the point, yeah, I do believe older women is the problem, because when I talk to older ladies, I like to get some knowledge, like what you've been through, what you've seen. You know, a lot of older women feel like they can't pass the torch of knowledge because they feel like we're coming for them. That's the same way on some of these jobs. They feel like they don't want to teach it because you're coming for their spot. In actuality, you're not. You're just trying to get through the door. You're just trying to get through the day. They don't know you personally, but all of a sudden, since you're the new face or you done moved up above them, you're the problem. I mean, you can see it, especially it's high amongst Black women. And I don't even understand why, because if we all were fighting for the same rights back in the day, you should want that reflected in your youth. Now we don't have that reflection in the youth. You see a total breakdown and misconception, because right now all I'm seeing is prostitution is the way to go. Prostitution and stripping is the way to go. I mean, when you look at it, listen to the music. I mean, you don't really have R&B singers no more, because I'm an R&B queen. I love old 90s R&B. I got a whole playlist with nothing of that. Every now and then I do get a little ratchet, but still, it's just sometimes you don't want to hear all that, because sometimes you want to hear about popping the tat and all that type of stuff. Sometimes you want to hear about love, and that's what I think we don't talk about no more. It's like, love is for what? What can he do? What can he buy? It's like Sorhel said, like everybody said, run up the bag. Run up the bag to do what? You're going to be old miserable over there with a Gucci bag that means nothing, because they're going to come out with another one in 2 minutes. Who next?
That's what's up.
Can I answer that, humble dad?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Listen, yesterday's podcast, we talked about 2 things. We talked about men are taught how to treat women, but they're never taught what to expect from women. Women are taught what to expect from men, but they're not necessarily taught how to treat them. My thing is this: if the women who are supposed to be teaching you how to do, what you should do is leave and cleave to your husband and fashion yourself to the needs of your husband. He's going to lead you and let you know where you need to be. In case you can't rely on older people, in this case, if you leave and you cleave to your husband, then that's going to do well for your marriage, because he's going to believe in you now, because you're going to be listening to him, and vice versa. Does that make sense? So you don't have to necessarily always get wisdom from places you won't expect it from. Sometimes you need to have that conversation with the person that you're in the relationship with, so that way you guys can move forward as a couple.
But the point is how they get there. How do they get to the point of?
Here's the thing, humble dad, they're going to have to spend some time. You cannot cheat the process. You can't cheat it, man. You can't cheat the game, bro. You can't.
Rip, let me get some context to that question. My bad. What was your question again, HD?
I said, what you got to start from the beginning. Like, how do they get to the part of even getting to a husband?
So I think that goes to my point. It takes strong fathers. Invest in that time.
But what if they're not there? Because that's where we are, right?
Well, that's where the women would come in. But it takes strong.
What women? You gotta be more. What women?
We said the
older women.
Yeah, which the older women in that case would be their mothers. So I've seen videos where the mom is at the club with the kid. That's an interesting dynamic. So where the daddy? And I think that's where the dad comes in, where you have to have a strong father to have a strong daughter, and instilling those things from the jump. So as for the best investment of time is, you got a good 18 years of being able to invest that time and modeling what it actually looks like to be a husband. Because typically your kids will go off and look for someone that's similar to you. So in that regard, like, that's where you get the opportunity to lay the foundation, those values, so that whenever they leave, they're going and looking for someone with similar, if not better, values than what you have and instill outside of culture. So
I'm trying to set a high bar, bro. Penny, you got something?
Yeah, I wanted to say I don't think it's the older women. I do think it's the family dynamic with the father being in the home to show an example. Because even if you did have a mom that told you how the game goes and told you things not to do, you're still gonna feel like you know what's best. And your mother can tell you what you're going to experience if you go down a certain road, and at a certain point in time you're going to feel like you know better. I know more than you. You don't know what's going on around here, and you won't listen. So it's not the mother's fault. It's not, the younger woman's fault. I don't think it's even, because you won't even listen to someone your own age. If they do know better from an experience and they can tell you how something will go, and you still won't follow that either. So I think it's by example. With the father being in the home, you can actually see, how it actually goes, see how those struggles actually work, see how the dynamics work when you do treat a man a certain way, how he will treat you back. So I think it's all in the family home, creating that home, that family. So I don't think it's the older women's fault, though, because I've seen a lot of mothers tell their daughters, don't do that. You can't get them that way. Don't act that way. Don't open your legs, things like that. Like my mom used to tell me, and I had 6 sisters, and she used to tell me everything belongs to me. Your hair, your private, them clothes, your lips. You can't do nothing on your body, nothing to your body unless I say so. And do you think all of us listened? No, we didn't. So you can have a mother like that and it still may not work out. So it depends on the family dynamic and how you actually see those examples in the home.
That's good. That's good. So let's tackle this thing. So if it's the fathers, then that'll probably be like a different conversation. But let's get to the meat of the conversation, which is where are the husband-minded men? Since it's and I put this conversation out to Facebook as well. And it was an interesting dialogue. So I'm going to see what we got here. And whoever wants to go first can go first. And however you want the context to be, you can paint the picture in which you want to paint it, and we'll respond to that. So the question is, where are the husband-minded men? Anyone?
So they're married and they're working. They're doing one of those right now. Either they're married or they're working. Marriage-minded men are going to put themselves in a position to, let me put it out here. A marriage-minded man just needs a woman who gives enough of an impression that she wants to be a wife. So when I say they're married, I don't mean that they have found qualified wives. I just mean that a lot of marriage-minded men who are ready to get a wife and have some kids and build a home and build a legacy, they're out getting married, and consequently, a lot of them are getting divorced. Because I think in looking at a man's mentality for marriage, we forget, and I forget who said it moments ago, a woman has to pair with that mindset, right? So he could be marriage-minded all he wants to, but that it won't be lasting if he's not with a woman who couples with him and they both bring that same mindset to a marriage. So most marriage-minded men are married. It's just sad that a lot of those marriage-minded men are getting divorced because, to Lost in Translation's point, a lot of them were taught what to be, not what to receive. And to the woman, they were taught what to expect, but not taught what to give. So married men are working or they're married, and some of them are getting divorced right now.
I would say most men are marriage-minded men. Like I said earlier, it just depends on what kind of woman you are to bring that out of him. If you're not a marriageable woman in his eyes, then you're just not that. But I know plenty of women got the stories of, I've been with this guy for 6 years and he would never propose to me. And as soon as he breaks up, he goes and date a girl for a month, ends up married. You know what I'm saying? Because she just wasn't that girl for him. You know what I'm saying? To do that. But I think most men are marriage minded. You just got to be a marriage worthy woman. Go ahead, Penny.
I really don't know, actually, because it's so upside down, and every point that anyone tries to make, there's a story of where that didn't work. So I really have no idea the mind frame of a man that's ready for like where these men are. I don't know. I have no clue, but I do. I don't think like if she's even like worthy, like, okay, if he sees her or he might find someone. He might date someone for like 4 years and then find somebody in 2 years and he'll marry her and it's like she was the one. Like, I don't even believe that's true. Like, some men will just do it because it's the time. They'll say like, okay, I'm getting older. My family, all of them are asking me, what am I doing? I'm tired of being the third wheel. Well, all my friends I'm married, I'm coming to their house with the liquor and that's it. So I think I can't even say that because, my ex proposed to his girlfriend day before yesterday, and I was with him for 4 years, and he was with her for 2 years, and they don't even live in the same state, and it's 2 years, and he proposed to her. They're finna buy a house together, everything, and I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm 37 now," and I said, "Okay. That's young." He's like, "No, I'm getting old. Yeah, I'm getting old." And I'm like, okay, but are you sure this is what you want to do? Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So it's like, it doesn't even, I don't know. I have no idea. So I can't even sit here and say, this is what you should do, or this is what, what it'll take. Everyone's taking a risk. And when
Penny,
he finally decides to take that risk with who he wants to take that risk with, he will. So
Penny, on behalf of men worldwide, most men are not getting married because they're getting old. They feel their biological clock ticket.
No, I'm just saying that's just an example of it can range from anything. Like, it can range from anything. Like, some men might even feel pressured, and some men might say, no one can ever pressure me into that, But some men do get pressured into that. Some men, moms are praying to God every day, when you gonna get married? When you gonna get married? Family is looking at them like, when you gonna get married? So,
is that a bad thing though? Penny, to you, is that a bad thing? So let's say, humble dad out here, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Humble Dad.
You keep using me as the example, bro.
Yeah, this is a good one though. This is a good one. So I always make the show host look good. So humble dad, that doctor, look good, care though. Isn't it important for women to apply a level of pressure to say, listen, I care about you and I want to show you my value to you? Isn't pressure a good thing if it's being used to demonstrate, because you're warring against a man's nature to go out there and be with different women? Now this is the biology of men. So isn't there an element where it's good to have people to tell me and listen, to put a little pressure on him that you got a good woman, you don't want to lose her or waste her quality years? In pressure, it doesn't have its place.
I think so, because I always say that when people ask me, why didn't we get married in 4 years? And I tell them that I didn't require it. I didn't require it. And it was because I was unsure as well about what I was going to do. And at the time, I can't believe I'm putting it out there, but at the time, I would question myself and I would say, like, are you really going to marry this man? Like, are you really going to do this? And you're unsure. And I'm pretty sure he was unsure. And then when everyone is married and everyone's into church, because his family was really into church, and so when everyone's like, when are you gonna, marry her? When are you gonna marry her? Even at the weddings that we're having, I'm catching the bouquet. Everybody's excited. Everybody feel like it's gonna happen, for us. There is a certain amount of pressure that I feel like if he isn't ready, that he is kind of, getting, being rebellious against it because everyone else is, telling him this is what he should do, and he's really unsure. So I'm not going to say that pressure shouldn't be applied. I think there should be per your standards as a woman. If it's something that you don't want to do. But I think there is such thing as too much. Too much for certain men that just aren't ready for that. And I really don't think that he's ready for it. But I think his marriage will last because he's not a failure in anything, but I think he's going to have some struggles because he's not ready mentally. There's some things that he's struggling with that he needs help with, that he's not willing to say that he needs help with. And I know that about him because I was with him for 4 years, but he will succeed in this marriage because he's not a failure. So I'm not really sure. That's why I said there's no set rules to that, because you could say pressure couldn't be applied, and if we had a rushed in and got married, who's to say if it would have worked or not? But you just never know.
The sooner you would apply pressure, the sooner y'all would have broken up.
Probably so.
Like, because if a man's gonna, if he has you in mind to marry you, then that's just what it is. But the fact that you didn't,
I'm saying it changes, because when we broke up, he said, "Let's do it. Let's get married. Let's have children." And I said, "No, no."
That's what Prototype is saying. If you would have said that sooner, you would have known sooner. That's all he's saying.
Oh, like
because I'm gonna get to Tamia, okay? But I was gonna ask this question, but we're not gonna have time. I have to talk about it later. But when does a guy know that he wants to marry a woman? Like, all of us men know when we know. The woman may not, but we know for sure when if she is a wife material, or if she's just somebody I want to spend time with. Tamia, what was you gonna say?
I'm pretty much agreeing with everybody here on their stance. I don't really have anything, actually, for once.
For sure.
I don't really have anything.
But my question was, where are they? Like, where would a woman need to put herself to be able to find husband-minded men? What would be an example?
Okay. Well, first, if she's at a church home where she feels is a good, well-rounded church home, because every church is not genuine. But if she's at a church home where she feels comfortable and open to it, for example, like my church, they do something called like connect groups. They have things for singles. They have things for people looking to date, not looking to date, and she wants to put herself out there. Definitely in the house of the Lord. Is the first place to at least, test her waters and go on a couple dates. Not saying that the best men are always there, but her husband could be there. And first thing you should be looking for is this a man of God to lead you? Next, if I'm being honest, if she has certain preferences, make sure you're surrounding yourself in environments with men that are at that stature. So are you going to uplifting events, or are you at a hookah lounge, or are you taking a weekend at a 5-star hotel to so and see and meet somebody? I feel like it has to do with like the environment that she's putting herself in, because people go to environments that align with themselves. If she's there because she aligns with the environment, and the environment aligns with who she is and her morals, then she's probably more than likely to find somebody else there that's there for that same reason, and hopefully just not there being a wolf in sheep's clothing. So that's my take on it. Where are you hanging out? Who are you hanging out with? And are you putting yourself out there into the right spaces? Because where you go is what you're going to find.
Where you go is what you're going to find. I appreciate that, Tamia. Anybody else want to speak on this?
Yeah, I do. We asked the question, where are the marriage-minded men? They're everywhere. And I'll explain to you why. I think women need to soften their gaze, and we need to ask the real question. Are you looking for a marriage-minded man, or are you looking for a marriage-prepared man? Those are two different men. Because a woman will look as if, okay, he has this, he has that, he has this, he has that. Oh yeah, he's ready for marriage, but he may not be prepared. You see what I'm saying? On the inside, for the long haul, Yeah, it's cool for him to look a certain way because he's only taking care of himself. But to speak to what Sir Hale said, when you apply pressure to a man, and if he's not built for that, he'll crumble when the kids show up. You know what I mean? He'll crumble when he has a wife to take care of. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of women don't look for a marriage-minded man. They look for a man that's marriage prepared. And I think if you soften your gaze, you'll start to see that there are a lot of men out there who want to be married, but they want to make sure they're married to the right particular woman, somebody who's going to treat him fairly, have respect for him, have adoration for him, have love for him. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Somebody who's going to be there for him no matter what. You see what I'm saying? Because they believe in him. I think that's what men want. But I think a lot of times women may not want to be wives in certain situations. They want the results of what wives get. But I have to beg the question, are they prepared to do what wives have to do to get what wives have to get? So my thing is this, sometimes we have to make sure that we ask the right question, instead of saying, hey, where all the marriage men at? Well, if you get one, what you going to do with him if you're not prepared to be a wife?
Drop the mic and walk off.
Yeah, I like that.
Because, that's the reason, I think that's the main reason why a lot of people is getting divorced is because they go in, they want that big old fabulous dream wedding. They want the party, they want the celebration. But when times get hard, they don't know how to work through it. Because we can sit here and say marriage-minded men, but what about the women? I'm always going to get on us too, because sometimes every woman always, yes, propose, honey, propose. But yet you don't know how to keep house. You don't know how to uplift your man when he's down. You don't know how to restore him. And again, it's not taught, but that's not something you're going after in searching for, or you're not paying actual attention to him. Like you don't know on Sunday after he get through watching football, he want to go have a drink on the back porch just to get ready for tomorrow. Like you don't do little things to keep him in mind. Like let's say get his work uniform, lay it out, and have it all ready for him to go. So therefore, when he gets up in the morning, he can just roll. Like I think what really goes on is that we put so much emphasis on how a man is to cater to a woman that we forget to tell our women that, hey, that man deserves the same respect. That man deserves a little catering to. You ain't got to do it all the time because, hey, everybody don't feel 100%. But at the same time, it's like in order to be this man's wife, you're going to have to learn sometimes you might want to take a shoe off. He may have a hurt foot or something. He may drop something on his foot. It may be swollen. His back might hurt, You might want to do something just a little extra. And I think the problem is that men get tired. You get tired emotionally. You get tired physically of showing up for somebody. They like, this mug is just freaking ungrateful. Bitch ain't clean up the house, ain't got nothing on the stove. But yet she all in my face asking me what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about eating. Duh. And I think it's like women are not taught that when you go into a marriage, you do have to be selfless, and it's not all about them kids. Sometimes you need to have time just for your husband, because at the same time, everybody get tired of going to work and just coming home and having to deal with your shenanigans. And I'm just gonna say shenanigans because we know a lot of different things go on in the house. But I think once we start telling women that we need to actually try to cater to our men, relax them. Like men, I think have this emotional barrier up that they know that they're not safe with talking in their home. So therefore they not really want to be a husband no more. Like, why would you want to go home to this nag and you can't tell her, hey, I just need you to shut up for 5 minutes. Let me get myself together. Or you got to sit in your car for 5 minutes because as soon as you hit that door, as soon as that door opens, she round. That's why I never understood why stay-at-home moms always want to pass the kid off to the dad after he just came home from work. That never made sense to me. It's like anybody that's done work the job, no matter what the job is, you want that 5 to 15 minute decompression so you don't snap. Because sometimes you got to let what happened at work stay outside at work because it don't belong in your home. Because I always take about 5 minutes sometime, or I drive a little slow getting home just to decompress. And I think once we start really addressing how to treat men and how men are just not the financial and the muscle, they're also human beings. They have feelings, even though y'all don't say that, or you can't express it because it's wrong, it's against the will. But as soon as we go deeper like that, I think we can move forward. Once we stop treating men like, hey, go be the bodyguard and bring home the money. That's the way I see it. Because I just feel like brothers, we as women got a lot of work to do, because I think we done let y'all down and y'all been getting the blame. Because it's easy to blame y'all because y'all men. Y'all supposed to do better. Y'all supposed to know better. But at the same time, women, we got to step up because we should know better, because we the one supposed to be in the house. And I'm going to tell you just like this. I don't like being outside working no more. It was cute, but it ain't cute no more. Next.
That's what's up. Does anybody else have something to say before we get out of here?
Yeah,
I
real
was just
quick.
going to say, I think that's a part of the problem, though. I think it's a part of the problem of you saying, or not you, but like people saying like these certain things that it takes to take care of a man when all men are different. And you say like, oh, you know, you got to cook for him, clean for him, you know, put out his work uniform, when that man doesn't require that. That's not what he needs. But then you go in a relationship and you try to do all these things, and that's not even what he requires. So you're not going to be a fit for him. But when you tell women that these are the things that we need to do and make sure that we have these things set, and then you have those things set as a woman, and it's not enough, you know, for the men that want to be married, or, you know, that are required, that are marriage minded. You know, most men that I think that are marriage minded are men that do have a purpose and are on their purpose. So I don't think those things are their like top priority. I don't think for some of those type of men. I'm not going to say general because I don't know.
No. When I was
I don't
saying
know
lay their
anything outside
uniform
my
out,
environment. I
I
can't
wasn't
speak in
saying
the
like
YouTube
do
speech,
that all
you know
the
what I
time.
mean?
I was saying that do little things for that man. Well, I was just using the uniform for an example, because that's what I need to do when I get
not
this
for your example, but there are things that, you know, they put out here that women should do. And then when you find yourself as a woman and you work on all those things, like trying to be a woman and have all of these things, you have it down. You can cook, you can do this, dress up, make sure you do this, good in the bedroom, all those things. And then it's not enough in today's society for you to be married. But no, you now have to have a career. You now have to bring in this. You now have to do all of these other things. So I think just focusing on, you know, what that man needs that certain man, you know, I think that'll get you further than listening to all the things, you know, that, because a lot of women that I know that are married weren't even required to cook. Don't even cook at all. Haven't cooked a meal or anything, and they're married, you know, and it's like, so it's like, it just depends on that man. But I think if women really focus on, you know, trying to get all of these things, you'll be exhausted. You'll be exhausted trying to be this superwoman to do all of these things.
So can I add to this really quickly? Penny, I think you're a stellar individual, but on this one, I think I think that this is a little bit misdirected. So most men, we do have differences. And I think you're correct, depending on where the man is, what he can afford. Every man might need a cook or a chef or somebody to clean, but there are certain fundamentals that is true for all men across the board. And whether this shows up as cooking or cleaning or making a meal, which most men, you know, is not going to turn down a good meal, is the effort. It's the effort to say, I've got a quality man, and here's I'm going to pay attention to this man and give him what he wants. And some of the basic things that everybody got to eat, everybody want a clean place, everybody wants some peace. Like those are some of the basic things that men need. And right now it sounds like a luxury because so many men don't get that. A lot of women are not peaceful. They're not even peaceful with themselves. If women were able to project their thoughts, you would see a level of chaos in their own minds, which makes sense for why there's so much chaos in their lives. So again, we're talking about cooking and cleaning, and men are different. For the most part, a lot of men, we share some similarities in the attention to detail and the effort. That goes a long way for any man. I'll give you this and then I'll wrap it up. So with my wife, we're going on 17 years of marriage, and I've been with her 18, 19 years. And for the first time, I told her what I need at this particular state of my life now. I need a lover and I need a nurse. And I don't need her to go to nursing school. I don't need her to do certain things. Is she willing? Is she willing to put the effort in? When I tell her, babe, this is the state of my heart, this is what I need from you, does she say, you know what, well, you should be a man, you should man up, you should be strong, go get you a therapist, let your mama do that, I got a career? Or is she like, babe, I got you, whatever you need, I'm here for? That's what marriage is. So I think that both men and women need to come into a marriage with that mind state, that what you're doing for your wife now may work in your 20s, but in your 30s it's going to be different. And are you willing to adapt to the change to protect and to sustain the marriage that you have? So that's what I got from what Ash was saying, is are you appreciative? And from that level of appreciation for what your man is and what he does for you, are you willing to cater to him, knowing that you're doing so because he deserves it for all that he does for you?
No, I was saying, like, from the examples, right? It's like, yeah, every man wants peace, right? But the examples that they put out to teach women of how to give men peace are the same examples, right? So, or better yet, when they say find a man with a plan, right? And then you have a good man how do you handle a man that is confused in his plan? How do you handle a man, give a man
You shouldn't
peace
be with him.
that is confusing in anything, or
You shouldn't be
is
with
having
him.
trouble
He
with
shouldn't
anything,
even have an opportunity to be with you.
right?
So what does that mean, confused? And Humble Dad, you should be with a man who's confused in his plan. Well, can we break that down? What does
For
confusion
sure,
look like?
like you know how I talk about it. Like every man that wants to be married should have a particular plan of how he's going to get to wherever he's going to go, because then he can identify who's the woman that's going to be coming along for this particular journey. If he is confused about what it is that he has going on, then there's no reason why he should even be having anybody aboard his particular automobile. That's what I'm saying. And so in my estimation, too many women, we talked about the potential part, are saying, okay, well, he's working on his automobile. No, his automobile should be built and he should be headed in the direction of his goals, right? So I'm not saying he's there yet, but he can say, you know what, my car is running, I got gas, you come on in, this is what I need for the road trip, so to speak. And so that's what I'm saying about having a plan, and then knowing how to execute that plan, and then make sure you're able to communicate that to her, and then she says, okay, I see where I fit in. If you don't see that you can fit in, then he should not even get the opportunity to have another date, in my estimation.
Penny, if I may.
So I think we need to distinguish. So we're having two different conversations, and I think I see the disconnect. So if you're under 30 years old, it's a little bit different than if you're over 30. And
I disagree.
Yeah, I'll say this. So let me give you my perspective. As a 19-year-old man who got married at 19 years old, I had a plan. As a matter of fact, I had a business. If I look back at 36 when I was 19 years old, what I thought my plan was based off of my environment. When I was exposed to more, my plan changed because I'm around more, I'm exposed to more, I'm able to do more. At 19, I thought I was going to be this world-class musician. At 20 years old, I'm going to be this great computer engineer. Now, it just so happens that I'm all these things now, but what I am now is I'm an owner of a business. I speak, I mentor, I've got a technology business. I've got things going on. I say that to say, we put so much pressure on men to have a plan and know where you're going. Really what he should have is an objective. He has to have something that makes him wake up in the morning, and as he lives life and as he's exposed to more, and if he's blessed to get a good woman comes and gives him ideas about what he can become and what he could accomplish, and she inspires him and let him know that I got your back, and if you need some ideas, I'm gonna get on Google with you. I'm going to expose you to different concerts. Look at this article. I thought about what you said. Like, we don't find our purpose outside of other people. And when a man is, if he's so fortunate to get a great woman can take a man who has, I don't even call it confusion. He's figuring stuff out because he don't know. You get a good woman and she can help accelerate and ignite a fire in you for you to reach that goal. You've never seen a great man without a woman that he's telling the story about what she did for him. Not one single great man. And so I say that because in the Black community, we have these rigid requirements. He got to have a plan. She got to know this. And the truth is you have to have a basis to grow from, and you have to figure it out for the most part together. Because you think you know something at 20, you don't. You think you know something at 30, you do not, right? You're in a constant state of growing, and the person you were with, they help you to evolve into the person that you're to become. So
Yeah,
I say this 16, 17 years of marriage.
Yeah, I got you. I guess we I disagree. For a guy to have, if we're saying that we want a guy to wait to have sex to 30, you bugging, okay? Because that's what we talked about just a few moments ago.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Right, but it had to be, because we were talking about we need to teach chastity to men and women, right? And so you're saying that a man should be. I'm saying that a man should. If you're a dad and you have boys, you should be teaching your boys to have a plan and be prepared to be married as soon as he can. Right? I'm not saying what that age is, but as soon as he can, because that woman that is going to come alongside him is going to help him get to where he needs to get to faster. So I'm saying at what was I, 20? I remember.
I think we agree here.
Okay, cool. At 25, I was like, man, this is crazy. I want to be married. And who I'm, at the time I was with my late wife, Jen, and we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was like, I don't know if you're the one, you know what I'm saying? And I broke up with her, because my mind was like, I know I need to be married and I got to be figuring something out to get to that destination. Okay. And part of that was making sure that I had the money. I needed a place to stay. Those things is what I'm saying. And so when I came back to ask her to be with me, what I'm saying, I had those things together and she had an idea of what I wanted to do. Did those things change? Yes, they did. However, plans change all the time, but where you start at is a good point, right? And you're trying to get there. And so I'm saying for women, the reason why they struggle is because they're trying to figure out this dude's what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to see, his drive, and they're trying to see if he has a plan. Okay, well, is it gonna be 6 months and then I figure it out? No, bro. Like, what's your plan before we even start to move this car? And then you'll see a lot of men have to step up their game, because women are not going to get in the car with you if the car is not put together and you don't have a roadmap to get to where you're going. And that's what I'm communicating, and we can wrap this up. I apologize. Go ahead, one. Go ahead, Sir Hale, and then Penny, and then we'll close this out. Unless
I think we agree on what we're talking about. So, okay. Again, this is from a young man, 19, got married. I'm saying,
I guess I was just disagreeing when you said 30.
No. I think what I was saying is we're speaking to two different age groups, but I'm of the same mindset that you are. You do have to have a plan. It's just that as I've grown, let me give you an example, then I'll be done. So my wife has had 4 of my children. I still to this day honor that. You have 4 of my children. I appreciate that. As a man, I'm grateful. My genetics is out in this world, and I believe that is going to make this world a better place. My wife did that for me, and I appreciate it. So what I did is I said, babe, I'm doing something for you, and I bought her a house. Like, if you ask her today, this is my house, I pay it, but this is her house. I didn't have a particular in 7 months, I'm going to go ahead and get her a house. Here's what I'm going to do. I had an objective, and what would have took me a year to do, I got it done within like 90 days, right? And I'm talking about from having $0 saved up to getting her the home that she wanted. And so that's what I said, having a plan is important. But you guys saw we had this pandemic, everybody had a plan. And then something happens and it messes up your plans. But if you have an objective, you can reroute, recourse, redirect, re-steer, retool, and you can still meet that objective. And that's what I'm saying. So we teach men to have a plan, be methodical in your thinking, but have a goal so that no matter what happens in life, that objective doesn't change, even if your plans have to.
That's fair.
I'm just going to follow up and say, I'm not saying that those essential things are not needed for every man, that there's not essential things. But what I feel like is that we always speak on the same things, on the same examples on how to provide peace for your man, how to, care for him. And then so when those other ways or things, those ways don't work, or that man requires something else, you don't know what to do. And then you're calling your friends, calling you, and you're saying, okay, did you, like Sir Hill, did you think about going on Google and helping and figuring it out with them? Did you think about doing it this way? Because only the surface things are mentioned over and over again. These are what's required. That when there are other ways to what they say, there's 7 different ways to skin a cat or whatever they say, or skin a fish or whatever. Sorry, my headache's still there. But there's just other things that's needed, other conversations that's need to be had on how to do for a man than those basic things. And when people say those basic things, it's like a trigger for me. It's like, it's more to that. It's more to that. Like, men are not simple. And I just don't think I don't think men are simple. Men think that they're simple. Some people, but they're not simple. To me, they're not simple at all. There's a lot of things that go into caring for a man. There's a lot of things on helping or taking care of a man or being there for a man. There's a lot of things that just are not talked about. And this cooking and this cleaning ain't gonna cut it. It ain't gonna cut it.
I got something short to say. But if you're learning and growing your partner and you're learning with your partner, you should already know what to do. I just use cooking and cleaning because
I think that's what Penny was saying. Both of y'all are kind of saying the same thing. Penny is saying that we say the same things. Ash is saying, whatever you need to do for this man, then you need to do that. She was just giving those particular talking points.
Yeah.
Penny is saying, well, if there are others, what would those be? Right.
If I may, humble dad.
Hey, listen, y'all acting like
if I may. Penny, I want you to remember this. Men may show up for the meal, but they stay for the amazing. Okay. And what I mean by that is that you have to separate yourself from what these other women are doing. That's the only way. And to do that, you have to figure out exactly what he needs. You see what I'm saying? Because those other women are not giving him what he needs. So to speak to that, what's the point of coming home to your house if he can get that down the street? You see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Stay
These
for the amazing
things that you say.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out with what amazing is that all women don't do. When was the last time you rubbed a man's feet? When was the last time?
Let me finish.
Let me finish.
All the time.
When was the last time you rubbed his back? When was the last time you whispered "I love you" in his ear? You know what I'm saying? Those are the things the smaller things that make men stay for the amazing. You see what I'm saying? When was the last time you booked a trip for him? You see what I'm saying? When was the last time you had a surprise birthday party for him? I think a lot of times women get caught up in what men should do for them, but they don't understand sometimes some of those same things work for men. Men run off appreciation. It's like 93 octane. The more appreciation you pour into that man, the more horsepower you're going to get out of him. So my thing is this: don't so much focus on the 87 octane, which is the cooking and the cleaning and all that stuff. You're supposed to be doing that anyway. I hate to go through your house and see if it's nasty. You see what I'm saying? Because if women are adverse to cleaning up for themselves, I can only assume that you're probably not going to do the same thing when I get there. So that's going to be a red flag. But if you're amazing in other areas, like the other day, Humble Dad asked me the other day, would you prefer a woman who sings? To me, that's amazing. You see what I'm saying? Because other women don't do that. You know what I mean? I will hold out for that. You see what I'm saying? We can go down to, wherever to get a hot dog or a pizza, whatever. But man, let me tell you something. If she could sing, to me, I'm coming home to that because I can't get that anywhere else. And for you, you have to figure out what that is for your man that you can give to him. Find out what your amazing is and be good at that.
That was good. Hey,
Bars.
I agree.
Bars. Yeah. Listen, Dwayne, do you want to say anything, bro? Because I know you're going to call me tomorrow and have something you got to say.
Oh, no. I mean, y'all touched it. I mean, you skipped on in there and took my answer. I didn't even get to answer the daggone question, but it's all right. Because how do you find? On your journey. On your journey. And guess where they got to be going? The same direction that you going. And guess what? If they say they're going the other way, you keep it moving. And Penny, you go and cut your losses and keep it going. because there's going to be plenty of people on your journey, but they're not the right one for you. But I do want to leave with this one, though, because since we were going off of Proverbs and we were saying a lot of those, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord. And I just want to also put, it's not the woman that finds a husband. It's the husband that finds a wife. So in that, I would say from a woman's perspective, oh, Penny, are y'all complicated? Because you did kind of say we're not simple. Are y'all simple?
No, I don't think any human is simple.
I think one of the chief thing that a woman
I
can
don't
do.
think any human is simple. I think we're complicated and you guys are complicated too.
I think one of the best thing that a woman can do as for working on themselves is try to figure out themselves and looking introspectively on self, and not the selfishness, not the whole social media platform where it's consumed with selfishness, where it's looking introspectively at how you can be a better you for your partner in the future. So I'll leave it at that.
Y'all some long-winded people, bro. Okay. Prototype,
Don't be
the only
mad.
one that had short answers today. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. I really, really value y'all time. It's been a phenomenal show. Y'all actually given some gems and some jewels and things that people can take with them. Make sure y'all follow these beautiful people on their platforms, except for Penny and Dwayne. They don't want to be followed at all. Okay. Check out Prototype. He has a show tomorrow night. I think Wednesday night you're doing the women's show, right? That was a good take. That was a good
Kingdom
take.
now.
Yeah, that was a good take that you put out the clip. Then you got Lost in Translation. I think he's on like Sunday through Saturday on some particular platform or another. Then you have Sir Hale, you know what I'm saying? Hey, he's doing his thing as usual. Make sure you check him out. And then Ash, you know, she be dressing up and taking photos and selfies and everything out there in the country. Yeah. All right. It's been good, man. I really appreciate y'all. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous. Bad feeling about this. You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.